I'm joined now by the Jet Zero Council Zero Emissions Flight Delivery Group Chair, Rachel Gardner-Poole.
The Zero Emission Flight Delivery Group was set up as part of the Jet Zero Council about 2 years ago, and we're really looking at the kind of new technologies that are required to achieve zero emission flights. So we're primarily looking at battery electric and hydrogen powered flight and the various things that are involved in that. The other part of the Jet Zero Council is focused on sustainable aviation fuel, and there's a delivery group looking at that, and that's been running actually for several years.
And how important is it to have this diverse strategy that's looking across all of these various different technologies?
Personally, I think it's absolutely essential. I mean, I think we'll only get to net zero in aviation if we consider multiple solutions. So I think that includes sustainable aviation fuel. I think it includes battery-powered flight, hydrogen-powered flights, and new technologies completely. I also think we require things like carbon capture, as well as more operationally efficient aircraft, so lighter materials, better engines, as well as improved airspace, and also taking carbon out of the air as well. And I think that's the only way we're really going to get to net zero.
Any ideas of which ones are going to be the most promising short term?
I mean, I think sustainable aviation fuel is something that's already being used now. The trouble is there's not enough of it. There's not enough of it worldwide. So we need a lot more SAF plants to actually produce it. And in fact, the UK have a commitment that there will be a start of production of 5 SAF plants in the UK by 2025. I think the other areas that, again, are already happening are much more efficient aircraft. So already much more efficient engines, lighter materials are already happening. Airspace modernisation has already been looking, so essentially more direct routes, which means less fuel is burnt as well. And also I think airlines in general, and in fact everyone in the aviation aerospace industry, are much more aware of sustainability, so are looking at everything in its entirety. And so I think it's all of those things, along with some of the newer technologies like battery aircraft and hydrogen aircraft.
So Rachel, let's talk a little bit about the findings of the recently commissioned study. Were any of them surprising, and sort of what was your perspective on it?
People were asked whether they would consider flying on a battery-powered aircraft or a hydrogen-powered aircraft. And I think it was 82% said that they would on hydrogen, 77% on battery. So that I found was really actually encouraging. Also, the other interesting thing was that people said, I think 27% said that they'd be willing to pay more for more sustainable flights as well. And it was a similar thing for the SAF kind of output as well. So again, and also there were quite a few people who were very aware, certainly of battery and hydrogen technologies. The other surprising thing was that on the SAF side, I think there were a lot less people who were actually aware of sustainable aviation fuel, which I personally found really surprising, particularly after the Virgin Atlantic flight last year, which was the first commercial flight, transatlantic, purely powered by sustainable aviation fuel, because there was such huge media coverage, not just in the UK, but worldwide as well. So I was surprised more people weren't aware of that.
How important is your role in helping raise awareness of things like that?
I think it's on us as the Jet Zero Council, which is a collaborative group across industry, academia and government. I think it's absolutely essential for us to do. The more communication we can do, the better. And I think that includes communication to the general public, because certainly, the younger generation, I know more and more people who are younger, generation who even won't fly unless, if there's other transport possible, they will not fly, they will not get on a plane because of their perceived perception of what it's doing to the environment. And I think we need to be much, much better, not just the Jet Zero Council, but as an industry as a whole, about communicating all the very positive improvements that have been made. I think British Airways have done a great job. Their Be a Better World campaign, when you're on a flight, you can click through and actually watch the videos, and they explain what's happening in very simple terms, which anyone can understand. So I think more things like that we can do, which get the message out there to the general public about how many improvements have already been made, I think are absolutely critical to the future of aviation.
What key message would you like to spread out there, either to industry or to the population at large?
So one of the public perception things about battery and hydrogen technology is that it's 15 years away. Most people thought it was at least 15 years away. And yet, in reality, we've got small electric planes flying already in some flight schools, albeit 40 minutes duration, but it is happening now. Hydrogen and a larger aircraft are expected certainly by 2028, if not sooner, to be in commercial operations. So these things are happening now. Sustainable aviation fuel is already being used. We just need more of it, and I think that message needs to be out there much more in the public domain.